Welcome to LNP Renewable System Editor. Today we are going to discuss some of the basics of structured cabling part 3. If you have missed part 1 and 2, please subscribe to our channel. In our channel we had created a playlist structured cabling basics part 1 to 3 English, so that whatever thing that you have missed, it will be easy for you to get a continuation regarding the discussion that we are making regarding the structured cabling. So in our discussions we might be using so many installation icons, telephonic diagrams, and also we might be using so many acronyms and the short forms. So if you have any sort of doubt when listening to the video, kindly please refer to this part. In all the part we have provided this clarity regarding the acronyms and the symbols and the short forms. So what are the things that we are going to discuss in the part 3? What are the 4 important phases of a structured cabling installation process? Okay, what are the precautions that we need to take while pulling the horizontal cables, and what are the color codes of UTB cables which are used in structured cabling? Why we need to do bonding or earthing for structured cabling? How a cable testing is done, and what are the common wiring faults that occurs during the cable termination process in structured cabling? Okay, how as-built drawing looks like, and why we need to prepare a punch list for the project. First, let us try to know about the installation process. So this installation process has 4 different phases, especially in the structured cabling. First is the rough-in phase. So in the rough-in phase, all the cables will be installed in the ceiling, walls, floor ducts and the rises. That is the rough-in phase. Next is the trim-out phase. In the trim-out phase, the main task during the trim-out phase is that cable management and the termination of the wires. That is the thing that we are going to do in the trim-out phase. Third is the finishing phase. In this finishing phase, we will be doing the cable testing and troubleshooting, and finally we need to provide the certifications. Okay. And the 4th phase is the customer support phase. In this phase, the customer will walk through of the network, okay, which is presented formally to them. They will try to test the, review the test results and the documentation that we had provided to them. Okay, if they are finally satisfied, okay, then they will provide the final sign off to close out the project. So, and also we might be using so many raceways, hooks, and loop ties also. Next, if you are planning to pull horizontal cables, you need to keep these 3 precautions very important. First thing is that as a cable enters the conduit, okay, it cannot become caught or get scuffed off at the end of the conduit. Use a plastic conduit guard or a chute to avoid this type of sheath damages. Okay, to prevent the sheath damages, please use a plastic conduit guards. That is the first thing. Second thing is that you should not pull the cable extremely hard around a 90-degree turn, which can flatten or damage the cable that you are pulling. So if your pulling tension is too much great, okay, shorten the length of the pull and do it as a stage by stage. Do not exceed the pull strength of 110 newtons. If you are exceeding it, for sure it will break your cables. Next, whenever you are pulling a cable with a cable puller or a winch, it is important to perform the pulley in a single smooth action. Okay, so if you are using a pulley for cable pulling, please do it in a single smooth action, cable pulling. Okay. After beginning the pull, try to continue the pull until the completion. Don't stop then and there, okay, because starting, it can cause additional stress on the cables. So avoid these things. These are the precautions that you need to take whenever you are doing a cable pulling, especially the horizontal cable pulling. So as I told earlier, even vertically also we are installing the cables, especially to the network distributed cables and the backbone cables we might be installing in vertical cables only. Okay. Although the backbone cables may be pulled horizontally, they are also considered as a part of the vertical distribution system. So this is the color code that you need to follow. Okay, if you are planning for a T568A or T568B standard, okay, these are the TA or EAA standards wiring schemes that you need to follow. You might have 4 different pairs. These are the color combinations you can use. Okay, whenever you are planning a crimping of this UTB cables. Okay, so even nowadays we are using RJ45 jacks, and this is the terminal in which you are going to crimp your cables. This is the trim-out phase. This is how it looks like. Okay, as we told earlier, for the termination of the communication cable in the telephonic room, okay, we are often call it as a punching down, because with the help of this punching tools we might be making a punches. Because of the punches, it get inserted in the terminals. It will be, once a cable is punched properly, it is very difficult to remove that. Okay, it is a permanent fixation. Okay, so wires are normally inserted in appropriate location on the terminal blocks, then punch it down using the punching tools over the wires. So if you are making a proper wire management, so this is how you need to make a structured cabling. You should look very neat and wise. And also why we need to make bonding or a grounding for a telecommunication cable. We have three reasons to do it. First is that it minimizes the electrical surge or spike effects. Second is that it maintains the integrity of the electrical grounding plants. Third most important reason will be it provides a safer and more efficient path to ground. So if you are making a cable testing, okay, you can test the cables with the help of the TDR, that is time domain reflectometer. Okay, what it will do, it will send a pulse down the wire and then monitor the electronic short that occurs due to the cable problems. TDR will determine if there is a cable fault or not, whether it is open or closed, and also it will measure the at what distance, okay, at what meters the fault is there. Also it will provide the detail. We are also having common faults. See here, this is a correct way to do the termination on both the ends. Okay, if it is reversed also, you can find it out with the help of TDR testing. And if your wires are mapped in a wrong way, that also you can sort it out. If it is splitted also, you can sort it out easily. So once you have done all these tests, okay, with the help of this test you can find out the open circuit and short circuit issues also. And also finally, once you have done all these tests, you can do the permanent link test also. Using that test, you can provide your certificates, okay, cable certifications that you can print out from your machine. That is a final document for your references that you have tested it properly with all sort of ways. So this is how an as-built drawing looks like. And most importantly, at every project you need to prepare a punch list. It is a record, okay, that you need to use within the project. So whether you had completed it or not, whether it is satisfied, whether the customer is satisfied or not, all these things you can get it out in the punch list. So prior to the closeout of all the payments, final payments, you need to submit the punch list. In the punch list, you need to describe all sort of activities step by step, what it is done, what was pending, what are the stack points, whether all these stack points are closed, everything you can sort it out in the punch list so that you can get a final signature from the vendor or the customers or the contractors. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and press the bell icon. If you want to know more and learn more, you can contact us. We can provide the contact details here. If you like the video, kindly please share to your friends. We, LNP Renewable System Limited, we are providing PLC programming training for Siemens, Allen Bradley and Delta PLCs. If you are really interested to work in GCC countries like Qatar, Oman, Saudi, Dubai, okay, especially in building management system, building automation system, MEP coordination, access control system, CCTV camera system, structured cabling system, we are providing basic trainings on it. If there is no heavy power available, if you want to establish a solar DC light system there, instead of going for normal, we are providing solar DC light support as well. You might have an agriculture farms. If you want to protect your crops from the intrusion of the wild animals, instead of going for normal electrical fencing, you can use solar electrical fencing. We are providing them as a kit. We, as a LNP Renewable System, we are also providing solar on-grid, off-grid, hybrid applications, solar steel take, solar pump services, design, installation, testing and commissioning, consultancy supports also. So we are providing training supports, consultancy supports along with the certifications. So if you have any sort of requirements, you can contact us. You can provide the contact details here. Thank you so much.